You know, we hear a lot of incredulous things from the modern woman. But what we're going to hear today is one of the most incredulous things that any of us have ever heard. Here is a woman, with other women agreeing that it is unfair for her to choose a career and still be held to a high standard as a mother. In other words, if she chooses a career, she should be able to give all of her efforts to that career and neglect her responsibilities as a mother. Yeah, it sounds weird when I say it, right? Let's see how you feel when you hear her say it. Let's take a deep dive on this one. But first, let's elevate to a higher plane. Prepare for takeoff. I will say this, man. A woman is required to choose whichever avenue she wants to choose. She can choose to be a career woman. She can choose to be a mother, a homemaker, a housewife, whichever she chooses to be. The issue is she can't choose to be both because something is going to lack. And I tell you men all the time, if you have your child with a professional woman, motherhood is going to be lacking. That's just the way it is. Because by the time she decides to have a child, she's invested much more time and energy into her career. And she's not going to pull her way away from that career for you, for her friends, for her family. She's not going to pull herself away from that career for God. And she surely is not going to do it for some child who's just entered the world and she has no bond with. Let's listen to this video, man, and we'll come back and chop it up about it.
You're being judged on your momness. And the mom part feels primal. Right. You know, like I can't get that one wrong. I could get professor wrong. I could get psychologist wrong. I can't get mom wrong.
Because it's primal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I remember my daughter said to me, "Why are you the only mommy that can't be here for all the special events?"
Right.
And she was like 4 years old.
Yeah.
And same thing, I fell apart. It hurts, man. It really, really hurts. It's so weird that we feel like we have to choose between our professional ambitions and our desire to have a personal life and to have a family. It's not fair.
Now, what you heard here is a woman who vehemently opposes the idea that she should have to be an effective mother if she chooses a career. And she's not the only one. Professional women worldwide neglect their motherly responsibilities, even though they have children. They think that they can delegate the responsibility of being a mother to someone else. And you know what they do instead? They buy their children gifts. They send them to prestigious schools. They do a bunch of different things financially because they don't spend the time. And you know why they don't spend the time? Because they value their careers more than they value anything else. There's nothing she's not willing to sacrifice or compromise for her career objectives. And that's fine until she decides she wants to be a mother. Yes, being a mother is a full-time job. You cannot have a full-time or more career and then try to be a mother unless you're going to end your career. If you don't end your career, and then you're going to be an ineffective mother. And women who are professional women who are not prepared to leave their careers or at least cut their time spent in their careers in half at least, they should not become mothers. The same way a man who is not financially stable should not have a child, a woman who is not stable with time should not have a child, especially in the first year. The first year of life especially, it is imperative that a mother is present in her child's life. There is a certain amount of love, and even if that woman is present in a child's life, she lacks that capacity to love the way a loving mother would love because she's given all of her love and attention to her career, which has then made her love and emotional status hard. She's a much harder version of a woman than just a woman who is, intent on being a mother, intent on being a homemaker, intent on being a wife. anytime a woman does not want to be defined by wife, I can guarantee you she doesn't want to be defined by mother. And contrary to what you might believe, no matter what job or career status a woman has, no matter how much money she makes, no matter what level of education she has, she is not more educated than a mother, because a mother's education comes from God himself. You are innately born with the ability and capacity to be a mother if you allow your instinct to take over. Motherhood is the most important job a woman can have. Being a mother is more important than being vice president. Being a mother is more important than being president. Being a mother is more important than being the first black billionaire. It's more important than any responsibility that a mother could have, any position that a mother could have. But what we hear in this particular video is a woman who says, oh no, I should not be held to a standard. But when a man is separated from a woman and there are children involved, you want to hold that man to a standard of still trying to be a father, an effective father, present father, when he's an absent father. You want that man to do what he has to do in order to make the sacrifices, in order to spend whatever time the woman is willing to give him with his children. You want that man to pay more and more and more money, even when he gets to the point where he's paying too much already. If he makes more, pay more. If he makes more, pay more. Come on, let's be realistic. Men are held to a standard in every single category, and we don't even require that women are held to a standard in every single category, because then we know they can't measure up to us. But in the category of motherhood, how? Why shouldn't we be able to hold a woman to a standard of motherhood? You look around and you have all of these professional women saying, I don't need no man. I can raise my children by myself. I can have my children by myself. I can do everything. You know, they say all kind of things. All a man got to do is provide the sperm. I can get that from a sperm bank, or I got a friend who'll do it. Man, they'll do anything to disassociate themselves from the need to have a man present in their lives. But they never want to talk about all of the things that are neglected by a woman who has no man in her life, especially when it comes to family. And even worse than that, as smart, as educated rather, as career women are, they're more likely to bring a stepdad around their children. They're more likely to bring a man who is toxic around their children. They're more likely to bring a man who fakes it until he makes it around their children. They're more likely to bring a man who doesn't care about her or the children enough to be in that position. They're more likely to do that. So what I say is this: if you're going to be a career woman, be a career woman. But understand that if you have a child, then that's a career as well. You can't be a career woman and treat motherhood like a part-time job. In essence, you have to be a mother and treat your career like a part-time job, if you decide that. If not, then you're going to be a part of the problem, not the solution, when it comes to how these children behave, how these children are lazy, how they have no drive, no determination, they have no goal-setting capability, they have no capacity to inform themselves enough to be effective adults. They have none of these things, because if you're going to be this independent-minded, I don't need no man, I can do it all by myself woman, then guess what? Yes, you shall be held to a standard of motherhood requirements, the same way an absent father is held to a standard of fatherhood requirements. You can't pick and choose what you're going to do in this society and then determine how society is going to view it. Society has a set notion of how it's going to view set things, and you're either going to be glorified or you're going to be ostracized because of whatever you decide to do. That's just the way it is. So I don't want to harp on this too long, man. I just want to come to and talk about it, man. I thought it was a great topic to touch on. And when you see not only her reaction, the emotionality that she showed while discussing this topic, you can tell that she looks at it and she feels like it is really, really unfair that she has to decide whether she's going to put all of her effort into being a mother or all of her effort into being a career. Like there's an option. There is no option. She wants to be able to neglect her child and have no one say anything about it. She wants to be able to not show up at any of her child's events and then not have anything to say about it. And then the worst case scenario, she'll find some sucker who's willing to be a stepdad in that scenario and have him filling in, showing up at all the recitals and all of the events and all of the sporting events and all of the school functions in her stead. But what she fails to realize is you can think you can fool everyone else, but you can't fool that child. That child understands that you're its mother. And the resentment that will develop It may not affect you now while you're still young and vibrant and still career involved and career driven and you still have these goals. But in 20 years, when you've accomplished these things and you look and you realize that everyone you ostracized doesn't want to deal with you, it may not be a big deal until you realize that the very child or children that you bore into this world but neglected all of that time are not going to want to deal with you either. What does that say about you? Your focused determination, your greed is what is driving you. Your need to overcompensate for the fact that you wished when you were born, you were a boy. The problem is, you are not. Are there some benefits to being a man that you don't get from being a woman? Yes. But there are also some benefits from being a woman that you get that a man doesn't get to enjoy. So let's act like we have common sense here and accept the fact that yes, if you decide to be a mother, take the responsibility for doing the job in the most effective manner. And you can't do that when being a mother is a side gig to you. And you do it when you have time away from your career. Y'all comment down below and let me know what you think about this topic, man. I look forward to hearing what you men have to say. I'm out.